Hi everybody, Dan here. This is our second phase in the term paper project. The first phase was to choose a topic. Now we're going to brainstorm this. We're going to brainstorm the topic with an idea map, which is the spaghetti on the wall. I don't know if you've heard that expression, but it means, well, in a cooking sense, you throw spaghetti on the wall and if it sticks, then it's ready to eat. But in a brainstorming sense, throwing spaghetti on the wall means throwing ideas onto the whiteboard, and it's generally done in a group setting. We're going to do these individually. This, by the way, the spaghetti that sticks is the outline. This is the spaghetti on the wall. This is the first of the processes of organizing your ideas. So what do I mean by that? I'd like you to take out a piece of paper and start thinking about all of the aspects of your topic. And I think once you do that, you're going to see this blank piece of paper fill up very quickly. Now, don't censor any ideas. It may be that you'll have too many and you may not be able to use all of them because the term paper, after all, is only 10 pages of actual writing. Remember, it's a 13-page term paper, but we're not going to count the title page, we're not going to count the abstract page, and we're not going to, because that's only like one paragraph and a short one, and we're not going to count the reference pages. So it's a 10-page paper of your actual writing. In this idea map, don't censor yourself. Just put down everything you can think of. And I've asked you on discussion board to begin your research because an idea map without research is extremely limited. You're essentially spitballing on your own. Once you begin your research and try to pick articles in the online library that show an overview of the topic, articles that stimulate your thinking on this topic, and just start putting them down. And as I say, for the next assignment, we're going to do an outline, which is a formalization of the idea map. Okay, so here's a sample idea map. It's very messy, isn't it? I want your idea maps to be messy. There is idea map software. I don't want you to use that unless you feel like you have to. The messier, the better. I want you to feel free. Just put down your ideas. Here's another sample. Here's a pretty well organized sample. You'll see that this is the topic. Imagine this being the topic of your term paper, and imagine your term paper having several main groups of ideas. And once you do this, I mean, again, this is a very well organized idea map. Once you do this, you may feel kind of overwhelmed. You may think to yourself, how can I write about all of this in a 10-page paper, in only a 10-page paper? That's what I want you to think. Because when I first mentioned that there was a term paper, 10 pages of your writing, you may have thought, how am I going to do this? How can I write 10 pages? You stand back and look at an idea map like this with all of these topics, and you'll see this is a page, this is a page, there's a page here, a page here. There's no way I can do all this. And that's how I want you to feel, because we're going to trim this down in the outline. So the outline is the spaghetti that sticks. The idea map is very messy. With the outline, don't worry about the outline this week. This week you're worrying about the spaghetti that sticks. But in the outline, you begin to organize these thoughts in a hierarchical sense. And you'll see what I mean with this sample. If your term paper, this is just a random outline. Let's say your term paper was on this topic, the War of 1812. Well, look, here's a logical way to go about it. You see, this is much different from this. which is more chaotic, but this is a necessary step into realizing the intellectual dimensions of your topic. And this is the step we're going to be doing now. Next week, we're going to be doing the outline. I don't know if you've heard this formula that we use in Toastmasters, but it's simple. For every speech, this is what we say to ourselves. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them. Now, in terms of a term paper, tell them what you're going to tell them is the introduction. Tell them is the body. Tell them what you told them is the conclusion. And I'll be referring to this formula as we go on beyond the outline into the introduction, which you'll be writing and posting on discussion board, and the paragraphs of your body, etc. This method, tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them, works for everything. Regardless of the writing challenge or speaking challenge you have, if you stick with this formula. Really, writing and speaking are two sides of the same coin. Organization is everything, but you have to begin with the brainstorming, and the brainstorming will result in an idea map. From that, you create the outline, and only then do you begin to write your term paper. I see so many people begin writing term papers when they haven't done the front loading, and what happens? They get lost, they get tangled up in their own writing. And then they start to fall into despair. I'll never get this done. And then they procrastinate and it just piles up. It becomes unmanageable. So if you follow these simple steps that I'll be talking about week by week, believe me, you're going to thank me later. So again, let's return to the idea map. This is what is due this week. It's messy. It's free for all. You don't censor any ideas. And if you want to do it something like this, which is really almost too organized, but it may help you to do something like this. In that circle in the center, write down the topic of your paper, and then start thinking of various groups of ideas that relate to this topic. You may not use them all in your paper, but now is the time to start brainstorming it, throwing the spaghetti on the wall. Now again, I want you to begin your research, and you're asked to do this in discussion board. And I think you'll thank me for this too, because otherwise, I'm not saying you, but many students postpone the term paper because they hate to write. Why do they hate to write? Because they don't know how to do the front loading. Writing is so much easier when you've done the idea map, and then when you've done an outline, now you know what to follow. It's so much easier. But anyway, often people don't do this. They procrastinate. They wait until the last day before class or even afterwards, and they ask me, Dan, can I turn it in late? And so they turn in something without benefit of any feedback. I'm going to ask you to incrementally work on your term papers. We'll take it in baby steps. You're going to be sharing your term paper in progress on discussion board for everybody to see and for everybody to give you feedback, including me. This feedback will benefit the final product of your term paper. And that's my whole point. So again, this is your assignment this week, and I'll be looking forward to it. When you do submit it, it'll be one of the exercises. There are two graded exercises. I mean, one exercise with two separate assignments inside. With this one, you can probably just attach a JPEG picture. Take it easy on yourself. You don't have to do a lot. Just send me the picture, or maybe you're really good at this kind of stuff and you can send me a document or whatever. Try to do it by Wednesday, and I'll get back to you with some helpful, friendly advice. And then you can incorporate that into your idea map. One last thing. when you do your term paper, don't forget about case studies. What are case studies? These are real life examples that you can use to illustrate the points you're trying to make and to tie them to reality, to concretize them. Otherwise, a term paper can just be a floating abstraction, castles in the air, and have no relation to real life. So start thinking in your idea map of what organizations you're going to profile, what leaders you're going to be profiling, using as examples, positive or negative. Think about that. That should be part of your idea map. Okay, have fun with this, and I'll see you on the next screencast.